Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to the front lines. Death Watch here to give you guys more intel so you can update your personal armory and fight back against the fake news media machine. And today we'll be covering from the post millennial breaking news. Portland jury finds Antifa militants not liable in any no attack. Defense attorney declares, I am Antifa. Or more importantly, Portland is Antifa, right? Well, Death Watch, aren't they? Doesn't Antifa stand for anti-fascist? How are they the bad guys? Well, if I call myself a hero and I essentially give everybody who breaks the law the death penalty, am I still a hero? No, I'm a tyrant. Okay, just because you call yourself something doesn't mean that that's actually what you are, right? Look at what people do, not what they say or what they label themselves as, right? Antifa is a democratic socialist, right? They're essentially wannabe red guard commies, right? They do the exact same tactics, harassment, doxing, and if they catch you off guard, they will try to attack you, right? They will attack you like they did Annie No, right? And worse, right? We have seen where members of Antifa, of Black Bloc, of BLM have stalked Trump supporters, and one of them ended up getting killed by this person. And when because Donald Trump saw the video and posted on social media saying, "Hey, this guy just literally killed this other, a supporter of mine." Antifa and all these other socialist Democrats came out were like, "Oh, what Donald Trump just called an executive execution of this guy, right?" It was like, no, this video clearly showed this dude was stalking two Trump supporters, caught them off guard, pulled out a gun, and shot one of these guys dead. And then Vice Media, right? Vice News came out and gave this guy a full on interview to sit down and say, "Oh, yeah, I was in self defense, man. I was just trying to defend myself from these Trump supporters." It was like, no, dude, we see the video. We saw, the police release a bunch of pictures showing you stalking these guys for 2 blocks. And then you wrapped around and then just pulled out a gun, shot this guy, and then ran off. Okay? So this is the type of behavior that you get from Antifa. Again, how are they the anti-fascists when they engage in these type of behaviors, right? Okay? So the defendant's attorney told the jurors that she will remember each one of their faces, okay? But on top of that, what's even more disgusting, Katie Davis Court, right, who was one of the journalists uh, covering this entire court case with Annie No, she got her windows completely smashed out outside the courthouse, right? From the Blaze Media, frequent target of Antifa violence has car ransacked while reporting on Annie No trial, where attorney declared, "I am Antifa," right? Katie Davenport of the Post Millennial has been covering fellow journalist Annie No's trial against Antifa, which came to a troubling conclusion this week after the time the radical leftists accused of assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress discovered that they would not be held liable by an Oregon jury, which had raised concerns about being doxxed. Davis Court discovered her car had been ransacked and picked clean. Okay, so Annie No, right? The jury has reached a verdict in the trial investigative journalist Annie No versus Rose City Antifa and its alleged affiliated members, in which they found both defendants John Colin Hacker and Elizabeth Rennie Richer not liable in the civil case brought against them. No filed a complaint in Portland, Oregon in 2020, claiming assault and other injuries over alleged acts of violence carried out by members of Antifa, which began in 2019. Defendants John Colin Hacker and Elizabeth Rainey Richard have been accused by senior editor of Post Millennial Annie No of assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, which was argued before a jury for more than a week at the Multnomah County Courthouse. Defendants Hacker and Richard, who allegedly worked as Antifa's doxers, which, after identifying No, had led to a series of physical beating on May 28, 2021, were found by the jury on Tuesday not liable for all these claims. Evidence provided during the trial, along with testimony given by both defendants, asserts no claims in the complaint, right? And here's the video of the actual assault that went down against Annie No, right? That didn't even cause him to have like a brain bleed, right? He had to go to the hospital, and sometimes he loses some motor function at random times. Okay, so during the closing statements, defense lawyer Michelle Burrows told the jurors that not only does she self-identify as both a progressive and as an anti-fascist, right? Again, going back to what I said previously, she strongly declared "I am Antifa" and insisted upon making herself an "I am Antifa" T-shirt, which she said she would wear after the trial. Despite Antifa's significant recorded history of violence, she told the jury that Antifa's unfavorable reputation is untrue and depicted the organized militant group as activists fighting for social justice and civil rights. In defense of Antifa, Burrows said, quote, "Resistance in this country has never been peaceful." Right? Who else said that? Chris Cuomo on CNN, right? Who said that a protest had to be peaceful? Well, actually, it's in the law. It's part of the law that, hey, you cannot be going around attacking things, attacking people, throwing Molotov cocktails or throwing IEDs, which were fireworks in gas, soaked in gasoline, lit on fire and thrown at police officers, at courthouses, at buildings to get these people, these places to get caught on fire. Right? That's a riot. That's domestic terrorism. Okay. However, as she argued before the jurors, Miss Burrows admitted that the black clad people that had physically beaten No were in fact terrorists. Okay, the defense attorney went on to say that journalist Annie No has dirty hands. She indicated that No is a doxer, as well as because he uploads publicly available mugshots of Antifa affiliate individuals. Right? I remember having somebody on my channel, someone on one of my videos, openly saying that, well, any knows a doxer and all this other crap. And I kindly responded that, well, it's not called doxing if you are arrested, right? In America, when you are arrested, your mugshot is publicly available because local news networks has that access to your mugshot, right? If you look at any local news channel, they'll say, hey, this guy has been arrested and is facing charges on this, this, and this, and they will put the mugshot of that person right there on screen, right? And these are local news stations, right? Where did they get it from? From publicly available police databases, right? Which are made public for everybody to know, right? By law. Okay, so him and taking these pictures of of people who have been arrested and have been charged, right? Regardless if the charges have been dropped or not. Once they have been arrested, once they've been taken back to the police station, these mugshots are made publicly available for people to have access to, right? So, in addition, the defense lawyer said that since the U.S. has an unregulated internet, No needs to take responsibility for the words he says on the internet, and added that his conduct has not been pristine. She also attacked No's credibility as a journalist, despite providing the jury with no evidence of the allegations that would have discredited him, other than saying that he's a liar that provides half truths, right? And from all the works that I've seen from him, he's never posted a half truth, right? Again, he takes publicly available information, right? Again, if you are arrested by the local police officers in America, they will put your mugshot right there along with all of your charges, right? Regardless if the charges get dropped once you get to trial, it's right there available for you to say, hey, grab it, put it on screen, say, hey, this person was arrested on this day, at this time, and is currently facing charges for all these different things. Okay, none of that is half truths. That all comes from the police department, right? If those charges get dropped, whatever, hey, that they'll update that. But as of right now, you've been arrested and charged with these crimes. Okay. So this is more videos of his Eddie Nose attack. His scars that he received after that attack. Before closing statements, Judge I don't know how to pronounce that, Sinaplazi informed the court that the trial's jurors have raised concerns about being doxxed and claimed that people have been trying to find out their identities. Of course they have, right? We heard that back when Kyle Rittenhouse, right? That people, what was it? A person from MSNBC or some news station, right, was following, right? They had to get the jurors to park at a separate parking lot outside the city limits, and they had to bus these people in, and they had the buses have like curtains to hide these people's identities, right? There was a car that was caught following that bus, right? And a police officer saw them because they drew a red light, right, to catch up with the bus. The police officer immediately like pulled them over and was like, hey, Why are you following that bus, and why did you just run a red light? And the dude gave his credentials and said that I work for this producer who worked at a bigger major news studio, right? A major news mainstream news press, right? And then when people look for her information, her entire webpage got erased, right? But people were able to at least what was it, archive some of it before it got immediately nuked, right? And the same thing happened with, I believe, the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin. A lot of people, some people were being caught having cameras and trying to take pictures of the juror. Okay, so again, this is the type of tactics that these Democrat socialists will do. Okay, so this is nothing new. The attorney for Annie No, Dorothy Yamamoto, Dorothy, Yamamoto had a different approach in her closing statement. Yamamoto went through each charge levied against defendants, Hacker, and Richard, and provided the jury with substantial evidence relating to each charge and why the defendants should receive each charge pertaining to assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Okay, more pictures, more videos. Actually, yeah, more pictures, more video. In her rebuttal, the attorney encouraged the jury to be mindful of what is evidence and what the attorneys have been saying. I've heard, quote, I've heard allegations and things that have happened that are not evidence. There has been a lot of attacks against my client's credibility as a journalist. He lies, he misstates. Did the defendants show you his actual posts? Yamamoto questioned after the defense team failed to provide evidence of No's alleged inaccurate reporting during the trial, claims that were used to discredit him. Yamamoto explained to the jury that while Hacker and Richter may or may not have physically beaten No on the night of May 28, 2021, the defendants can be held liable for battery, assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress due to the state law. In regard to battery, the defendants would have to be found guilty of intending to cause harmful or offensive contact with the plaintiff and directly or indirectly cause a harmful or offensive contact with the plaintiff. Yamamoto argued that this charge applies to Hacker when the defendant had poured water on No and slapped No's phone out of his hand on May 7, 2021, which Hacker had admitted doing during testimony. Okay, so regarding May 28, 2021, the two defendants can be held liable for battery by substantially assisting or encouraging someone to commit battery. The evidence provided was Richard and Hacker identifying No, which had led him to being physically beaten. Quote, the key fact was to identify an infiltrator and beat up the infiltrator. Is identifying the infiltrator substantial assistance? Is that encouragement to commit assault? Yamamoto asked. Quote, you also saw evidence of the defendant's inability to identify anyone. Is that encouragement? Is that substantial assistance? Okay, Yamamoto questioned, adding, is it encouragement by not revealing identities? Does that encourage them to continue attacks if they know they won't be held accountable, right? Yamamoto provided evidence to the jury that was shown during trial in which Hacker and Richard were seen on surveillance video shortly after No had been beaten and only after they had revealed his identity in regards to causation in concert, in which evidence would have to show that the attacks on No were mutually contrived or planned, agreed on, performed in unison, or done together. Yamamoto explained that Richard's tweet, which was provided as evidence during the trial, applies to this charge. After No was beaten, Richard had tweeted, "Our comrade is that badass," right? Spotted him. And I think this is the video. Yeah. So No is clearly running, and these guys are running after him. They grab something from him. Yeah. He ends up dropping something.
Milkshakes were bad last time. We're gonna beat the fuck out of you, bitch.
Right. So yeah. So that's clearly the lady right there. You heard her voice. And he drops something. He runs into this hotel right here after being beaten. Right, and here they are. And here they are walking down the street after chasing him.
Get off my property right now.
Right, and then and he's now hiding behind the desk, and here she is right here saying that, hey, we're gonna beat you up. Right? They stalked him, they kept following him into the hotel after he fled from them, and they sat there and yelled threats towards him. So again, like how can they not be found liable? Is again because Portland is Antifa, right? Yamamoto explained to the jury while Hacker and Richard may or may not have been physically bitten. Well, I read that. Let's see. Regarding May 28, 2021, the two defendants can be held liable for battery by essentially assisting or encouraging someone to commit battery. The evidence provided was Richard and Hacker identified no, which led them to him being physically beaten. In regard to causation and concern, which evidence would have to show that the attack on no were mutually contrived or planned, agreed on, performed in unison, or done together, right? So there, yeah. So right there, you clearly saw all of them. All of them were right there together, following, chasing him, and you hear one of the people literally saying that, yelling threats at him after they followed him into the building. Okay? So No's attorney explained the assault in civil does not require contact, but rather intent in the plaintiff's awareness. According to No lawsuit on May 7, 2019, John Hacker splashed an unknown liquid onto No at a local gym and then forcibly took Andy's phone. When Hacker refused to release the phone, gym employees allegedly interfered and returned the phone to No. According to plaintiff, No management later terminated Hacker's gym membership. Hacker testified that these allegations were true. So overall, they're admitting that, yeah, we did this to him, right? So I know to see again. This is just them reposting it again, right? Allegations John Colin Hacker continue. On May 28, 2021, Hacker allegedly participated in events that resulted in Andy No being beaten by a mob. Alleged Antifa members. No was observing Antifa attacks on Portland Justice Center in the police Portland Police Central, right? And so they got a picture of her right there. So I don't see it. Okay, I don't see how exactly they didn't find them liable, right? Because they admitted to, yeah, that they did these things. On May 28, 2021, Hacker allegedly took part in an action that led to No being beaten by an Antifa mob. On that day, No was monitoring Antifa attacks on the Portland Justice Center. Hacker allegedly approached him. The Antifa mob then yelled, "That's Andy, get him, get him." Hacker testified that he approached No and identified him to another journalist. Okay, No survived one street beating, which was captured on security tape. No was able to flee and end up at the Nines Hotel on 525 Southwest Morrison Street. Defendant Richard pursued No into the hotel before being rejected by hotel officials, who asked Richard to leave, right? So yeah, you again, you see the video right here. He's running. He's running from these guys. They catch up to him, grab something from him. This will load, sorry. Okay, it's not loading. Let's go back to the top right. So yeah, and so he is running into this hotel. He runs into this hotel. Right, he is right there. He runs into the hotel. All these guys are now following him.
Fuck out of you, bitch.
Right, and so Richard, right there. So they're right there yelling at him, saying that, hey, you're hurling threats at him, and the hotel staff had to tell them to leave the premise. So Richard is seen on video screaming to Andy, "I can't wait for you to come out, Andy." Richard is accused of live streaming and broadcasting video of Andy No in the hotel after he had been brutally beaten by his assailants, describing his location inside the hotel and verbally encouraging more assaults on No. Video evidence of this was provided during trial. While defendants Hacker and Richard were found not liable by the jury, No's complaint included 4 other Antifa members who have been found in default, and their damages will be decided by Judge Sinapalasi after the main trial. So, overall, this is just all BS, right? It's Portland, right? It is run by lawless Democrats, right? The judge in Andy No's trial just admitted that jurors reported Antifa was trying to dox them. A journalist was accosted by Antifa inside the courthouse. You think they won't, they won't continue this type of behavior? They've already done it, right? Again, when it came to Kyle Rittenhouse. You had reporters, a reporter who worked for a bigger mainstream network was following the bus where the jurors were having to get into, right? They had to have the jurors come to a undisclosed location, drop their cars off, and a bus will come and pick them up. There was people who were caught trying to film the jurors as they were waiting for the bus. And when they got on the bus, a person was pulled over by the police because they went through a red light trying to follow the bus. Okay, so it's clearly that these type of behaviors has been going on for years now, right? And it's not going to stop anytime soon. So for these jurors to say, "Hey, we feel that people are trying to dox us," right? And he should probably file for a mistrial, right? And then for one of the journalists who was covering all this, for her car to get smashed into, right? This is intimidation, right? This is more evidence for a mistrial because these people are trying to intimidate people, okay? Because these people are, in my opinion, domestic terrorists. This is what's going on. So it's kind of heartbreaking to know that these people weren't, even though there's video evidence, right? The video evidence, and every time they were doing things to Andy, other people were there to witness it. Okay, and they all admitted that yeah, we did these things to him, but yet the jurors were like, oh well, we don't find him liable. BS, dude. File for a mistrial, and hopefully these other people that are being accused for damages, they get theirs, right? And is able to get some type of damages out of these people, right? And so it's just crazy, right? But Portland, don't go if you're a right winger, don't go anywhere near Portland, because you see how if you go there, you can be attacked by Antifa goons, and they can get away with it. Okay, so, like always, stay safe, stay sane, be vigilant, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you, Patriots, on the battlefield.